Good afternoon. Please come to question number 20. Please come to question number 20. 20 number question. The financial position of AS Foundation Limited on 31st December 2013 and 31st December 2014 and the profit and loss account for year ended 31st December 2014 are given under. So now we have 2014, 2013. This is last year and this is current year. Be very careful about the columns. So you have to read from right to left to understand the change. Is it right? So see, land and building, plant and machinery, accumulated depreciation. So these two items are connected. Accumulated depreciation, inventory, debtors, cash, liabilities, share capital, securities premium, note number D. We will see later what is note number D. Then reserve and surplus, institutional loan, debentures, note number B. We will see what is that. Creditors, salaries payable, provision for tax, proposed dividend. Then profit and loss account for the year ended 31st December 2014. Sales, less cost of goods sold, gross profit, operating expense under that, office and administration, selling and distribution, interest and depreciation. Operating profit, add gain on sale of plant. So there is some plant which might have been sold at a profit, like in the previous question number 19. Then total profit, income tax. This is income tax provision. This is not amount paid. This is amount transferred to P&L account. This is not equal to paid necessarily. And then finally the net profit for the year is 1,05,000. So this is about P&L account. First of all, you note down very important question, because this question was asked in earlier exams for something like 16 marks. The additional information is given below. During the year, plant costing rupees 50,000, cost of the plant 50,000, accumulated depreciation 20,000, its accumulated depreciation is 20,000, was sold. Okay, so it means the WDV of the plant sold was 30,000. WDV of the plant sold is 30,000, and in the question, profit on sale of the plant is 6,000. So you can guess the sale value. The sale value will be 36,000. You can guess the sale value. The sale value will be 36,000. Okay. The debenture of the face value of 30,000 were converted into share capital at par. Tell me the journal entry for this. Tell me the journal entry for B. Point number B. Tell me the journal entry for point number B. The journal entry would be debenture account debit to share capital. Debenture account debit to share capital 30,000. But this entry does not have cash, no cash flow involved, no cash flow involved. If no cash flow is involved, this item will not come in the cash flow statement. This item will not come in the cash flow statement. No cash flow is involved. Only a note will be written. Tick mark two items. In the balance sheet, tick mark debenture and tick mark share capital. And also tick mark plant and machinery and accumulated depreciation. Also tick mark plant and machinery and accumulated depreciation. Next point is the company paid a dividend of 40,000. Company paid a dividend of 40,000. So first I will go to your balance sheet to explain this. Company paid a dividend of 40,000. You see the last item here. Balance sheet last item. This last year dividend 40,000. Can you see the last line in balance sheet? This has been paid. They are talking about this 40,000 which has been paid, and the current year provision has been made. Current year provision has been made, and the entry for current year provision made must be reserve and surplus account debit to provision for dividend. They must have passed this entry, reserve and surplus account debit to provision for dividend. So please tick mark reserve and surplus. Please tick mark provision for dividend. Tick mark these items which have adjustments: share capital, debenture, plant, accumulated depreciation. Tick mark these items. So we'll have to prepare working notes for these items. Next point is the company issued bonus share of 20,000 rupees. Company issued bonus share of 20,000 rupees. Reserve and surplus account debit to share capital 20,000. 20,000. So again tick mark reserve and surplus and tick mark share capital. Next line, company further issued 5,000 share of rupees 10 each at a premium of rupees 1 per share. Company issued 5,000 share of 10 rupees each at a premium of rupees 1 per share. So please give me journal entry for this. Please give me journal entry for point number D. Anybody journal entry? Pawar, journal entry. Jain, journal entry. Thakur, Thakur. Give me the answer, Thakur. Give me the answer, Thakur. So the entry for this will be bank account debit 55,000 to share capital 50,000 and to securities premium 5,000 rupees. 5,000 share into 1 rupee premium. Is this right? Is this right? Yes. So we have to tick mark securities premium share capital. And in cash flow from financing activity, we will write 55,000. So Sanket is right. This is the question. Prepare cash flow statement under direct method. Since they have mentioned direct method, we will solve by direct method only. Otherwise, this question can be solved by indirect method also. Okay. As a homework, You will try this question under indirect method. As a homework, you will try this question under indirect method. Right. Thakur is also right. So first you write down the heading AS Foundation. AS Foundation Limited. AS Foundation Limited. Cash flow statement. Cash flow statement for the year ended. For the year ended. Come on, year ended 31st December 2014. For the year ended 31st December 2014, in bracket write down using direct method. Using direct method. Everybody, please participate. Using direct method. Then you draw two columns on the right side, rupees, rupees. First point number A, cash flow from operating activities. Cash flow from operating activities. Cash flow from operating activities. First keep about 6 lines blank. Then write down cash generated from operations. Cash generated from, after keeping 6 lines blank, cash generated from operation. Then write down less income tax paid. Less income tax paid. Come on, everybody. Therefore, net cash flow from operating activities. Therefore, net cash flow from operating activities. Therefore, net cash flow from operating activities. After that, write down point number B, cash flow from investing activities. Cash flow from investing activities. Everybody, 5 lines blank. Minimum. More than that, if you can afford. Cash flow from financing activities. Cash flow from financing activities. Keep 5 to 6 lines blank. Cash flow from financing activities. First, we have to draw the format, then working notes, then we can solve easily. Point number D, write down. Point number D, net increase or decrease in cash and cash equivalent. Net increase or decrease in cash and cash equivalent. Point number E, cash and cash equivalent at the beginning of the period. Cash and cash equivalent at the beginning of the period. Point number F, cash and cash equivalent at the end of the period. Cash and cash equivalent at the end of the period. So first you complete this format. Is the format ready now? Is the format ready? Then we can prepare some working notes. Is the format ready? Say yes. Now we'll prepare some working notes. This question has more working notes because there are many adjustments. This is an actual exam question for something like 16 marks. So it can be asked in your examination also. So write working note 1. First write down working note 1. Debtors account. Working note 1. Write down debtors account, 6 lines. Keep about 6 lines blank. Then working note 2 will be creditors account for finding the payments made. So usually under direct method these two accounts are required. Then working note 3, check in the balance sheet. Do we have any expenses prepaid or outstanding? Yes. So there is a salaries payable appearing in the question. So we will write office and administration expense, because in the P&L account, in bracket including salaries, office and administration account in bracket including salaries, because salary means it is part of office and administration expense. Then we will draw some more working notes. So please write down working note 4, give number also. Plant and machinery account. Plant and machinery account, about 6 lines. About 6 lines. Then working note 5, accumulated depreciation account. Accumulated depreciation account, and working note 6 write down asset disposal account. In this question, cost is given separately, accumulated depreciation is given separately, so we will also keep them separate. Your question can we combine these three account? Yes, you can do it, no harm. Both ways it is okay. Working note 7, write down working note 7, provision for taxation account. Provision for taxation account, 6 lines. Provision for taxation account, 6 line. Working note 8 write down share capital account, 7 lines. Share capital account, about 7 lines. Then write down working note number 9, securities premium account. Securities premium account, working note 5. Working note 10, reserves and surplus account. Working note 10, reserve and surplus account. Working note 11, 6 lines, 7 lines, reserve and surplus. Debenture, 5 lines. Working note 11, debenture, 5 line. And working note 12, purchases. Purchases formula I will write. Purchases equal to cost of goods sold plus closing stock minus opening stock. Minus opening stock. So these are only 1 dozen working note. Okay, 1 dozen. You had never imagined we will prepare working notes in dozens. So don't worry. Working notes will help you to understand. Then in the exam you can delete few working notes where you can do directly also. But my job is to tell you about everything. So if the student is ready, we can start solving. So please let me know once your format is ready. Is the format ready? Is the format ready? Please reply. First line is asset. Asset. Land and building. Opening balance is 1 lakh and closing balance is 1,50,000. So we will call it investing activity. On land and building, it appears there is no depreciation. So the difference in land and building represent purchase. So we are going to write in investing activity purchase of land and building 50,000. Purchase of land and building 50,000 in bracket. For plant and machinery, I will come to working notes. So there is a working note number 4. In working note 4, plant and machinery, to balance brought down, opening balance is 2 lakh. Second column is opening balance. And credit side, buy balance carried down 2 lakh 20,000. Buy balance carried down 2 lakh 20,000. In accumulated depreciation account, write down buy balance brought down, buy balance brought down 80,000 and debit side to balance carried down is 82,000. This type of questions are asked in the exam sometimes for 14 to 16 marks. So please solve till the end and revise it today as homework. Now next is inventory. Inventory I will use for purchase calculation. So come to working note number 12. Working note number 12, purchases. Cost of goods sold is there in the P&L account. 2,10,000 there is there in P&L account, second line. Closing stock is 1,25,000 and opening stock is 90,000. Opening stock is 90,000 and therefore this difference is how much? 2,45,000. 2,45,000 is purchases. So where will you write purchases? Purchases you will write in creditor account, credit side, second line, buy purchases 2,45,000. In bracket working note number 12. Working note number 12. Later on, if you want to check how this purchase has come, then you can go to working note number 12. So I will come to balance sheet again. Up to inventory we have done. Debtors. There is a working note 1. Working note 1. To balance brought down. To balance brought down. Debtor opening balance is which one? 45,000. And buy balance carried down. Everybody write down nicely 40,000. And cash equivalent at the beginning of the period, second last point, is 50,000. And cash equivalent at the end of the period, please write down, start as fast as you can, those who have joined late, 70,000. 70,000. So this is asset side. Liability side has lot of working notes. Share capital. Share capital working note number 8. Buy balance brought down. Buy balance brought down 75,000 and to balance carried down is 1,75,000. In the same place, working note 9, securities premium account, buy balance brought down 7500 and to balance carried down is 12,500. To balance carried down 12,500. Reserve and surplus working note 10, buy balance brought down is 17,500 and to balance carried down is 62,500. This will help you to understand accounting also. Very good question. Then fourth item is institutional loan. For institutional loan, there is no working note. That means the difference is institutional loan raised. So come to financing activity, 23,000 minus 15,000, 8,000, write down financing activity, institutional loan raised. Positive number 8,000. Positive number 8,000. Question number 20 is going on. And then next item is debenture. We have a working note for that. Debenture account, buy balance brought down. Debenture account buy balance brought down is 1,50,000. To balance carried down is 1,20,000. To balance carried down 1,20,000. Then creditors will come in working note 2. Creditor working note 2. Working note 2 credit side first line. By balance brought down. By balance brought down is 30,000 and debit side to balance carried down is 25,000. Salaries payable will come in working note 3. By salary payable in bracket opening, salary payable is 10,000 and debit side last line to salary payable, debit side last line to salary payable bracket in bracket closing balance. There is a accrued figure also, hence we have to prepare a ledger. Amount appearing in P&L account is different from amount actually paid when there are prepaid or outstanding figure. So it is better to prepare working notes and you can easily find out the balancing figure as payment made. Next item is provision for taxation, working note number 7. Buy balance brought down. Buy balance brought down provision for taxation 60,000 and debit side to balance carried down is 50,000. To balance carried down is 50,000. And what about provision for dividend? 40,000 of the last year has been paid. 40,000 of the last year has been paid. So therefore you will write in financing activity, point number C, main page, dividend paid, last year has been paid, in bracket write year 2013, which is 40,000 in bracket, which is 40,000 in bracket. Then next item is current year provision for dividend. Current year provision for dividend entry will be reserve and surplus account debit to provision for dividend. On the screen working note 10, on the debit side, reserve and surplus to provision for dividend. To provision for dividend 40,000. To provision for dividend 40,000. In bracket you can write year 2014. This is related to year 2014. So reserve account debit, provision for dividend account credit. Done. So this completes our liability side. Do you have any question on the liability side? I am waiting for your query. Waiting for your query. No query? Come to the P&L account. Sales. Sales, nothing is given. Assume entire sale is credit sale. So debtors account debit side to sales. First we'll complete writing and then we'll search for missing figure. Cost of goods sold we have used. Gross profit is not required because it is just a balancing figure. Under operating expense, office and administration expense is debited to P&L account 45,000, which means office and administration expense, working note 3 credit side, you will write by P&L account 45,000. By P&L account 45,000. Selling and distribution expenses you have paid because there is no prepaid or outstanding for selling and distribution. So what I will do, I will go to operating activities, second line, less selling and distribution expenses paid 25,000 in bracket in the first column. Then what about this interest? Do we have any interest receivable or interest payable in the balance sheet? The answer is no. So this entire interest paid will go to financing activity. On the screen, point number C, financing activity, interest paid. Interest paid 12,000 in bracket, first column. Okay. And then depreciation 22,000. Depreciation entry will be depreciation account debit to accumulated depreciation account. Depreciation account debit to accumulated depreciation account. So working note 5 credit side, by depreciation 22,000. We will not write anything except what is appearing in question right now. First spread the data, then we'll write balancing figure. Otherwise we can miss something. Now next item is operating profit. Operating profit is not to be written, it is just a balance. Gain on sale of plant. Gain on sale of plant. The entry for gain on sale of plant is in this question asset disposal account debit to P&L account. Asset disposal debit to P&L account. P&L account credit side gain on disposal. So that is appearing working note number 6. Asset disposal account debit side to gain on sale of plant. Second line, to gain on sale of plant 6,000. Any other presentation is also okay, right? Next line, total profit. This is not required. Income tax. Income tax provision we have prepared. Income tax provision account credit side by P&L account. By P&L account 87,000. And the last item is net profit 1,05,000. Where will you transfer net profit 1,05,000? Any reply? Where will you transfer net profit 1,05,000? So you will say reserve and surplus account credit side by net profit 1,05,000. So that is the current year profit. It got added to reserve and surplus. We have completed P&L account also. Any query? Any query on P&L account? Any query on profit and loss account? No query? Next point A. Point number A, listen to me carefully. Plant costing rupees 50,000, accumulated depreciation rupees 20,000 was sold. So we are going to pass two entries. Asset, please write down the entry at the end. Asset disposal account debit 50,000 to plant and machinery account 50,000. We have transferred the asset sold to a separate account called asset disposal account. Second entry would be accumulated depreciation account debit 20,000 to asset disposal account 20,000 to asset disposal account 20,000 to asset disposal account 20,000. So give the effect of these two entries. This is a good way of learning. So I am going to now working note number 4 and 5 and 6. Working note number 4, asset disposal account debit side to plant and machinery 50,000. Plant and machinery account credit side by asset disposal account 50,000. This is the first entry. The second entry is accumulated depreciation account debit to asset disposal account. To asset disposal account, depreciation on assets sold transferred to asset disposal account. An asset disposal account credit side by accumulated depreciation 20,000. By accumulated depreciation 20,000. So now if you look at this account, this 50 minus 20 is the WDV of the asset sold. 6,000 is the profit. So the sale amount will be by bank sale balancing figure. Balancing figure 36,000. Balancing figure 36,000 is right. Balancing figure 36,000 asset disposal account. And if you look at the plant and machinery account now, the plant and machinery account debit side you have some missing figure to bank, and that represents purchase. That represents purchase. So tell me the balancing figure. Balancing figure in plant and machinery. What is the balancing figure in plant and machinery? Credit side total is 2,70,000. Yes, minus 2 lakh. So what is the purchase of plant value? Any answer? Purchase of plant is 70,000. So these two figures, purchase and sale of plant, we are going to write in investing activities. So all of you please come to investing activity. Write purchase of plant and machinery, working note 4, in bracket 70,000, and sale of plant, sale of plant, working note 5. Tanya is right. Very good, Tanya. 36,000. Others have gone into sleep mode after having heavy lunch. It seems you don't feel like studying only. Okay. So now my dear student, come to next adjustment. Debenture of the face value of 30,000 rupees were converted into share capital at par. Entry will be debenture account debit 30,000 to share capital account 30,000. So debenture account debit side to share capital, working note 11, 30,000. So this account will tally now. Share capital account credit side, buy debentures, 30,000. Buy debenture 30,000. This will not be reflected in cash flow statement. Point number C, company paid a dividend of 40,000. That we have done. Bonus share issued 20,000 during the year. Entry for bonus share. Reserve account debit to share capital. Reserve account debit to share capital. Working note number 10, debit side to share capital. To share capital 20,000 in bracket bonus share, and share capital account credit side by reserve and surplus in bracket bonus share, 20,000. If you write everything nicely, it will be good. And last adjustment is company further issued 5,000 share of rupees 10 each at a premium of rupees 1 per share. Entry will be bank account debit 55,000 to share capital 50,000 to securities premium 5,000. So we are on the screen, working note 8, share capital by bank 5,000 share into 10, 50,000, and securities premium account by bank 5,000 into 1, 5,000. So this is telling now. Okay. And check whether share capital account is also telling. This is also telling. Check whether reserve and surplus is telling. Reserve and surplus, this is 122,500 and this is also 122,500. This is also telling. So I have to write the entry for issue of share 55,000. Where will you write? Issue of share, where will you write? Where will you write issue of share? Financing activity. Very good. Issue of shares, including premium. including premium 55,000 in bracket 5,000 shares issued at 11 rupees per share. Okay, so we have completed all adjustments. So those accounts which are open, find out the balancing figure and transfer to respective places. Like for example, this debtor account to balance brought down 45,000, by balance carried down 40,000, and there is a sales also. So the missing figure would be by bank collection. Tell me the answer and keep the answer ready for creditor also, expense also. Come on, students. Take debit side total first. 5,45,000. Now minus 40,000. So that will give you 5,05,000. Is it 5,05,000? Yes. Creditor account debit side is missing. Payment is missing. To bank, anybody, payment, balancing figure. Take credit side total 2,75,000 minus 25,000. So the payment made is 2,50,000. The payment made is 2,50,000. And come to office and administration expense to bank. How much is this account? Credit side 55,000 minus 15,000. So 40,000 rupees is payment made for office and administration expense. Okay. Check the answer now. Chinky is right. Wow, what a name, Chinky. No problem. Collection from debtor. Collection from debtor in main operating activity, working note 1, and the amount you write positive 5,05,000. In the same place you write down less payment to creditor. Less payment to creditors. Payment to creditor was 2,50,000 in bracket working note number 2. And one more thing, write down less office and administration expense in bracket including salaries paid. How much was that last one? Including salaries paid 40,000. Very good. So this is my working note number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 closed. And working note number 8, 9, 10, 11 is also closed. So only pending is working note 7 to bank. To bank. How much is the taxes paid? How much is the taxes paid? Check the balance. 97,000. Balance will be 97,000. Tax paid is 97,000. So what we will do? We will go to income tax paid 97,000. Now what the student should do? The student should complete this cash flow statement now on your own, and I will check the answer after 10 seconds. So please complete on your own. Start solving. Start solving. Is it over now? Is it over now? Are you able to tally? Some students have started solving. So let us check their answer. First, you will give me cash generated from operation. Cash generated from operation will be 5,05,000 minus 25,000 minus 2,50,000 minus 40,000. So that is 1,90,000 minus 97. Cash flow from operating activities 93,000. 93,000. Then your investment activity is negative 84,000. Financing activity, financing activity is positive 11,000. This is the student's answer, please check. And now if you take the total is increase 20,000. So you tick mark increase here. Increased. Sanket is right, Tanya is right. Okay. So very good, all of you, those who have answered this question. This answer is over. Now you write a note. Write a note. Note, write down. At the end of the answer, write a note. The following transactions, note is must in the exam. The following transactions are not shown in cash flow statement because no inflow or outflow of cash is involved. Because no inflow or outflow of cash is involved. And which are these two transactions? One is bonus shares issued, and second, conversion of debentures into shares. Conversion of debenture into share. So if you write this note, institute will be happy. You will get good marks, full marks. Today's homework, same. All questions that we have completed in the class, and plus today you revise 20 questions extra. Today you solve 20 more questions. Okay. So this will give you a very good practice. Homework note down. Don't sleep till you complete the homework. Come to Question number 21. Question number 21. Please come to question number 21. The following data is available from the books of AS Foundation Limited. The following data is available from the books of AS Foundation Limited, balance sheet in rupees, share capital. See, 10 lakh is here, 11 lakh is here. And look at the securities premium. From 0, it has become 30,000. So the total amount raised from issue of equity share is 1 lakh plus 30,000. So amount raised by issue of equity share will be 1 lakh 30,000. Then next is general reserve, bills payable, creditor, outstanding expense, provision for income tax, proposed dividend. Land and building, plant and machinery, stock, debtor, cash, bank, bills receivable. Advance income tax paid, tick mark, and also tick mark provision for income tax. On the liability side, we have provision for income tax. On the asset side, we have advance income tax paid. Is it right? So last year provision for taxation was 2,50,000. Last year advance tax paid 255. This year provision is 268 appearing, and this year advance tax appearing is 2,70,000. So there is a new adjustment in this problem related to advance tax. Something is new in every problem. And last item is preliminary expense. The preliminary expense was 21,000. Now it is 7,000. So what do you understand from this? What must have happened? Preliminary expense from 21 to 14, write off 7,000 rupees must have been written off. 7,000 rupees must have been written off in P&L account. Is it right? And similarly, this general reserve 1,01,000 is increased. So what must have happened? Transfer from P&L account, right? So you should know all these basic things by now. So the student will now come to P&L account, sales, again cost of goods sold is given. So you use it to find out purchase, and the use purchase to find payment. This is usually under direct method we do. Gross profit, sundry operating expense, tick mark. Sundry operating expense, tick mark, because there is a expense outstanding in the question. Depreciation on land and building, depreciation on furniture, loss on sale of furniture. This preliminary expenses amortized, tick mark, done. 7,000 rupees was transferred to P&L account and it is tallying. So no further discussion about preliminary expenses, it is tallying. Next is net profit before income tax. Provision for income tax 2,68,000, tick mark. And you also tick mark on the balance sheet this provision for income tax, second item. Same thing, 2,68,000 is appearing in P&L account also. Profit after tax. Then they are saying less provision for income tax, negative 2,000. Less provision for income tax, minus 2,000. Your question will be, what is this? You have to keep thinking. So this I will explain at the end. The student has to keep thinking what can be the provision for income tax at 2000 rupees when already this provision for tax is given. What is this second provision for income tax 2000-2001? Here lies your thinking capacity. Then next is interim dividend paid. Proposed dividend tick mark. Proposed dividend you tick mark here 1,10,000, and proposed dividend you tick mark here also 1,10,000. So this is already reflected in P&L account. So what happened to this proposed dividend 1 lakh? This is paid. This is paid. The opening proposed dividend must have been paid. The opening proposed dividend must have been paid. Only closing is appearing in P&L account, that is current year provision. So we have to make two payments of provision for dividend. One is this, sorry, we have to make two payments. One is interim dividend we have to pay, that is for current year during the year, and 1,10,000 last year proposed dividend paid in current year. So total dividend paid is 1 lakh and interim dividend 55,000. Total dividend paid is last year proposed dividend and current year interim dividend. This is already appearing in balance sheet. This is already appearing in balance sheet. So once again, those items which is appearing as a contra, we are not going to do anything. This 7,000, this provision for income tax, this proposed dividend, and this transfer to general reserve, they have already appeared in balance sheet also as a contra. So we are going to give effect of remaining items only. Now there are some adjustments. Adjustment number 1, liability for income tax for previous year. For previous year ending 31st March 2001 was fixed at 2,54,000, and hence a refund of rupees 1,000 was received out of the advance tax paid for that year. Liability for income tax, this is a new adjustment. More you practice, more and more new adjustments you will get. Okay. So liability for income tax for previous year accounting year 31st March 11 was fixed at 2,54,000, and hence a refund of 1,000 was received out of the advance tax paid for that year. Now you understand what has happened. Understand what has happened. This adjustment you can't do on your own. Last year provision for income tax 2,52,000. Last year advance tax paid is 2,55,000. Last year provision for income tax 2,52,000, and last year advance tax paid 2,55,000, and income tax liability as per income tax department is 2,54,000. So what is the journal entry to be passed? Because now the assessment is over, these two accounts needs to be closed. So the student would write down in the notebook journal entries to be passed on completion of assessment. On completion of assessment. Journal entries to be passed on completion of assessment. So this company would pass the following entry: advance income tax account debit. Good student will write advance income tax account, we will credit it, it's already debit, just a minute. Provision for income tax account debit, provision for tax account debit, 2,52,000. This account will close. Short provision, short provision. Why short provision? Government is demanding 254. You have made a provision of only 2,52,000. So short provision of taxation, debit 2,000. Short provision for taxation, debit 2,000. Bank account debit, you have received refund also. So bank account debit 1,000 and to advance tax account 2,55,000. Please write the entry for your future understanding. This is a very advanced question. By solving only easy question, we can complete the syllabus if that is the only objective. But the objective is that the student should be able to solve advanced questions on his own in the exam. And that is why we are taking many practices in the classroom only. Okay. So this entry, see the effect of this entry now. Provision for taxation account debit. This account will close. Short provision for income tax debit 2,000. This short provision is ultimately transferred to P&L account. That is appearing in P&L account here. So tick mark this also. Tick mark this 2,000 rupees short provision also, which they have transferred to P&L account. So total 5 items in P&L account, which I have highlighted. You don't have to do anything now. Then bank account refund will come in operating activity. Because it's a bank, it will be operating activity, income tax, and advance tax 255 credit. So this 255 will also close. So in the balance sheet, this I don't require now. This I don't require because those two accounts have already closed during the year. Those two accounts have already closed during the year. You can look at the entry again and you will understand. So the only thing I have to do is to transfer 1,000 rupees income tax refund in the cash flow statement, operating activity. 1,000 rupees income tax refund received will appear in operating activity, and that will take care of provision for tax, advance tax, and short provision for tax appearing in your P&L account. Any query on this? We cannot skip such questions. Okay. Next point, number 2, is the book value of the furniture sold. Book value of the furniture sold is 5,000. If book value is 5,000 and in the P&L account, there is a loss. Can you see loss in the center? 2,000 loss. So book value 5,000 less loss 2,000. So the sale value is 3,000. Do you agree? Then sale value is 3,000. Do you agree with this? Say yes, we agree. So we have to also record one sale entry for 3000 rupees. Okay. Next point. Next point is you are required to prepare cash flow statement. That is what we are doing here for last 5 days. Okay. So this problem we will solve under direct method. This problem we will solve under direct method because complete details of P&L account is given. So therefore please write down format first. Please draw this format first. Please draw this format first. AS Foundation Limited. AS Foundation Limited cash flow statement. Cash flow statement for the year ended 31st March 20x2 20x2 using the direct method. Using the direct method. Using the direct method. Right hand side two columns. Rupees, rupees. And then you write down point number A. Point number A. Cash flow from operating activities. Cash flow from operating activities keep 6 lines blank. Keep 6 lines blank. Then write down cash generated from operations. Cash generated from operations. Cash generated from operations. Then write down less income tax paid. Less income tax paid. Less income tax paid. Less income tax paid. Then write down net cash flow from operating activities. 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 And then write down cash flow from investing activity. Cash flow from investing activity. Keep about 6 lines blank. Cash flow from financing activity. Cash flow from financing activity. Keep 6 lines blank. Cash flow from financing activity 6 lines blank. Net increase. Net increase or decrease, net increase or decrease in cash and cash equivalent, cash and cash equivalent at the beginning of the year, cash and cash equivalent at the beginning of the year, cash and cash equivalent cash and cash equivalent at the end of the year, cash and cash equivalent at the end of the year, cash and cash equivalent at the end of the year. This is the format. It takes times to prepare, but then it is required. Anybody any query on this? Till now? No query? We'll have to prepare some working notes. See on the screen, pay attention on the screen, look at the balance sheet. Look at the balance sheet. On the balance sheet, we have been given bills payable and creditor. Bills payable and creditor both are same, but bills payable is an negotiable instrument, ultimately payable to the creditors only. We don't know how much amount was separately paid for bills payable, how much amount was separately paid to the creditor. That we don't know, but if I consider them together, I can find out the payment made to creditor. What is my objective? To find out the payment to creditor. So I will treat bills payable and creditor as one unit only, same. Similarly, on the asset side, debtor and bills receivable will be treated same to find out the collection from the debtor. To find out the collection from the debtor. Next point. So write down working notes. A little different problem than usual. So here I will prepare debtors and bills receivable account together. This will help us to find out collection from debtor. This will help us to find collection from debtor. Okay. This will help us to find collection from debtor. Next point, working note 2, creditors and bills payable together. The purpose is to find out payment. You can prepare a statement if you want. I have no objection. Working note 3, there is a expense also in the problem. So write operating expense account. So usually these extra accounts are required in direct method to find out the collection or payment. To find out the collection or payment. 5 or 6 lines blank. Then working note 4, land and building account. Working note 4, land and building account 6 lines. Working note 5, furniture and fittings account. Furniture and fitting account 6 or 7 lines. furniture and fitting account, 5 or 6 lines, furniture and fitting account 5 or 6 lines, then working note 6 write down, provision for taxation account, provision for taxation account 5 or 6 lines, provision for taxation account 5 or 6 lines, working note number 7, advance tax account. I am preparing these two extra account. If you want to prepare in the exam, you can prepare or otherwise leave it. And then working note 8 write down, calculation of purchases. Calculation of purchase formula is cost of goods sold plus closing stock minus opening stock, minus opening stock, minus opening stock, minus opening stock. So this is my working notes. If more working notes are required, we will see. Okay. Journal entry for tax you have written, correct? So let us begin this wonderful and wonderful question. So dear student, please come to balance sheet given to you, liability side. Share capital if you see 10 lakh, 11 lakh, increase is 1 lakh, securities premium 0 and 30,000. So 30,000 is the premium received. So please come to main page. Cash flow from financing activity. Issue of shares. Including premium. 1 lakh plus 30,000 premium. 1 lakh plus 30,000 premium. Positive number 1 lakh 30,000. Positive number 1 lakh 30,000. Then next is general reserve. You don't have to do anything. General reserve, it is appearing in the last line of the P&L account, 1 lakh 1,000. No cash flow involved. Bills payable and sundry creditor together, we are going to write in working note 2. On the screen, working note 2, buy balance brought down. Bills payable 60,000 and sundry creditor opening balance is 2,07,200. So that is equal to 267,200. And two balance carried down on the debit side, two balance carried down, closing balance of bills payable 20,000 and creditor is 157,400 and that is equal to 177,400. That is equal to 177,400. Come to next line, outstanding expense. Working note 3 credit side. Working note 3 credit side by outstanding expense in bracket opening. Opening is 30,000. and two outstanding expense in bracket closing. Entry is expense account debit to outstanding expense 35,000. 35,000. Then we'll come to provision for income tax account, working note 6. By balance brought down, provision for income tax, working note 6, credit side 2,52,000 and two balance carried down 2,68,000. 2,68,000. 2,68,000 is right. 2,68,000. Proposed dividend of last year 1 lakh has been paid. So you come to financing activity. In financing activity, write down last year proposed dividend paid. Proposed dividend paid in bracket year 31st March 20x1. This 1 lakh rupees has been paid. This 1 lakh rupees will be paid. This 1 lakh rupees has been paid. And then we'll come to a next item, proposed dividend current year. If you look at this P&L account, proposed dividend current year is appearing here, no cash flow involved. So this won't be written anywhere in cash flow statement. This is not yet paid. Okay, this is not yet paid. So now we'll come to next point, asset side, land and building. There is a working note on land and building on the screen. Working note for debit side, two balance brought down. Two balance brought down. How much is two balance brought down? Two balance brought down will be 8 lakh. And credit side write down. Last line, buy balance carried down. Buy balance carried down is equal to, how much is that? 8,55,000. Just keep it here. We will come to this. Okay, we'll come to this. Don't worry. Now next item is furniture. Next item is furniture. Two balance brought down. Two balance brought down. Two balance brought down is how much? Two balance brought down is 90,000. And buy balance carried down. Buy balance carried down is 76,500. 76,500. What about that stock? That stock will be used for calculating purchases. Stock will be used for calculating purchases. Working note 8. Working note 8 will be cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold. P&L account second line 37,21,200 plus closing stock. Check in the balance sheet, closing stock 596,300 minus opening stock 532,500. Tell me the answer. Tell me the answer. What is the purchase? What is the purchase? Anybody who wants to reply, what is purchase? Purchase will be net amount 37 lakh 85,000. 37 lakh 85,000. Purchase 37 lakh 85,000, and then we'll go to creditor and bills payable. Working note to buy purchases 37 lakh 85,000, and in bracket you write working note 8. In bracket working note 8. Next line in your balance sheet asset side, next line we'll go line by line. Debtors. Debtor and bills receivable we will add together because my objective is to find collection. So on the screen, working note 1, debtors and bills receivable debit side, first line. To balance brought down. To balance brought down. So you write debtors plus bills receivable figure 1,87,300 and plus bills receivable 30,000. So total opening balance of these two would be 2,17,300. 217,300. Okay. And credit side, last line, buy balance carried down, debtor plus bills receivable 184,200 and plus 50,000 plus 50,000. So that is equal to 234,200. 234,200. Write nicely. 234,200. Any query now? No query. This is a very important question on the screen. And now we have cash in hand, cash at bank. Add both the items together. Cash in hand, cash at bank will come in cash and cash equivalent at the beginning and at the end on the screen, last 2 points. You have to add both cash in hand 18,200 plus cash at bank 1,15,200. So this together will be 1,33,400. 133,400, and this cash and cash equivalent at the end, cash in hand 13,400 plus 1,62,000, and that is equal to 1,75,400. 1,75,400. So this is my cash and cash equivalent. It will have cash in hand, cash at bank, and short term marketable securities also, but in this problem marketable security is not there. Bills receivable we have done. Advance income tax, working note number 7007. To balance brought down. Write nicely. Very, very important question. By balance carried down. You should also know how the effect is reflected in ledger. Tomorrow you will join some offices, so you have to pass entries. Without entry, ledger balances don't move. Okay. So this is my advance tax. And what about preliminary expenses? If you see preliminary expenses on the screen, P&L account, 7,000 has been written off. No cash flow involved. So it won't come in cash flow statement. Now we'll complete P&L account. Sales. Sales. Assume all sales are credit sale. If nothing is given, assume all sales are credit sale. Working note 1. Debtors. 2. Sales. To sales. 46 lakh 37,200. Cost of goods sold we have used. Gross profit not required. Operating expenses, sundry operating expenses, we will come to credit side of operating expense. Credit side of operating expense by P&L account 3,17,500. 3,17,500. 3,17,500. Then we'll come to depreciation on land and building, working note 4. By depreciation 45,000, working note 4. Credit side by depreciation, and by depreciation in furniture account by depreciation 8500. By depreciation 8500. By loss on disposal of furniture, credit side, by loss on sale 2000. By loss on sale 2000. Wait a minute. There is a point number B in your question. Book value of the furniture sold was 5,000. Loss is 2,000. Book value 5,000. Loss is 2,000. So sale value by bank 5,000 minus 2,000, 3,000. 3,000 is the sale. That 3,000 sale of furniture. Please come to cash flow statement, investing activity, sale of furniture, positive number 3,000, working note number 5. Working note number 5. Next line, P&L account, next line. Preliminary expenses we have discussed, it is over. Net profit before income tax, this is not required. Provision for income tax 2,68,000. Working note 6. Provision for income tax account by P&L account. By P&L account 2,68,000. 2,68,000. Net profit after income tax not required. Provision for income tax 2,000 rupees. Provision for income tax 2,000 rupees. This one. Provision for income tax 2,000. This you write pending. Pending. I will come to this in the last. Interim dividend 55,000. This is paid. Interim dividend paid will come in financing activity. Because it is not appearing in balance sheet means it is paid. Interim dividend paid 55,000. Interim dividend paid 55,000. Proposed dividend will not come. Transfer to general reserve will not come. And last item is, last adjustment pending is A. Liability for income tax for the previous accounting year ended 31st March 2001 was fixed at 2,54,000, and hence a refund of 1,000 was received out of the advance tax paid for that year. So the journal entry for this transaction would be, I have already dictated one more time, provision for tax account will be 252. Last year will close. Short provision debit 2000 because the government wanted 2,54,000 and we have made a provision of only 2,52,000, and this will go to P&L account which has gone. Bank account debit refund, we should get refund of 1,000 because we have paid advance tax more than the income tax liability, and credit side to advance tax 2,55,000. So we have to pay 254, we have paid 255, so 1,000 refund was received. Now give the effect in the ledger. On the screen, advance tax credit 2,55,000. So come to advance tax account credit side. Advance tax account credit side by provision for tax 2,52,000 by short provision 2000 by short provision 2000 and by bank 1000, by bank 1000, by bank 1000. So this is the effect given in advance tax account. Now advance tax account is not telling, so the difference is to bank current year. Difference is to bank current year. Current year advance tax paid is 2,70,000 and refund received is 1,000. Tax paid 270, tax refund 1,000. So net tax paid 270 minus 1, 2,69,000. So we are now going to cash flow from operating activity, income tax paid, net of refund 2,70,000 paid. On the screen operating activity and 1,000 refund received. So net tax paid 2,69,000. 2,69,000. And come to provision for taxation account. On the screen provision for taxation account debit 2,52,000 and on the credit side you've written to advance tax. So you will present in the ledger like this to advance tax 2,52,000. So this account closed. Advance tax account closed. Right. So one by one we'll complete the balance working notes and see whether it is to cash or by cash. So debtors account by bank. Student will help me by giving me the balancing figure. To bank, by bank, collection. Give me the answer. By bank, balancing figure. What is your collection from debtor? Then also calculate payment to creditor. So by bank is how much? 46 lakh 20,300. 46 lakh 20,300. Check debit side, creditor account to bank payment. Please calculate the balance and give me. Calculate the balance of payment. Take credit side total first. 40 lakh 52 200 minus debit side. So how much is payment to creditor? Tanya is right. 38 lakh 74,800 payment to creditors. Check. Operating expenses also, please give me the answer. Operating expenses to bank. Balancing figure, payment. Balancing figure, operating expense is how much? Take the credit side total first. 347,500 minus 35,000. So 3 lakh 12,500. Thakur is right. Thakur, give me the answer, Thakur. Okay. Land and building is not telling. What is the reason? Anybody? Total on the credit side is 9 lakh, but debit side it is not telling. Debit side there is a difference. Yes, Thakur. What is the reason for difference on the debit side of land and building? So it must be to bank, which means purchase. Balancing figure here would be 1 lakh. This was easy. Now let us look at the furniture. Furniture total is telling. In furniture there is no missing figure. The total is telling. Okay. So what you do? Transfer these three figures to operating activity and transfer purchase of land in investing activity. Is it right? So come to cash flow from operating activities and write there collection from debtors. Please reply fast. Collection from debtor was 46,20,300. Payment to creditor was payment to creditor was 38. How much? 38 74 800. Payment of operating expense. Payment of operating expense was 3,12,500. 3,12,500. Therefore, cash generated from operation Therefore, cash generated from operation, total of these three items, cash generated from operation is 4,33,000 minus tax paid 2,69,000. So Sanket is saying that operating activity is 1,64,000 and purchase of land and building we have to write here. Purchase of land and building 1 lakh, if not written now, right, and that will result into 97,000 outflow. And then you write down financing activity. Financing activity, this is negative 25,000. Negative 25,000. Tanya is also right. Net increase. Net increase or decrease in cash and cash equivalent. Net increase. Jan is saying 42,000. 42,000 seems to be right. 42,000 seems to be right because the total is telling. The total is telling. So 42,000 seems to be right. Okay. So this answer is over. This answer is over. It is telling. Any query on this question? Please ask me if you have any query on this question. This is the answer on the screen. Please check. No query? Come to one question I will dictate. Please write down. Please write down one question. Please write down one question. A small question. Prepare cash flow for Gamma Limited. Prepare cash flow statement for Gamma Limited. Everybody write down in the notebook. Prepare cash flow statement for Gamma Limited for the year ending 31st March 20x1, for the year ending 31st March 20x1 from the following information. From the following information. From the following information. Then you write down sales for the year. Sales for the year amounted to rupees 135 crore. Sales for the year amounted to rupees 135 crore, out of which 60% was cash sale. Out of which 60% was cash sale. Out of which 60% was cash sale. Second point right. Second point right. Purchases for the year. Purchases for the year amounted to rupees 135 crores. Amounted to rupees 135 crores, out of which 60% was cash sales. out of which 60% was cash sales. Out of which 60% was cash sales. Then write down per, uh, out of which credit purchase was 80%. Out of which credit purchase was 80%. Then write down point number 3, administrative and selling expense. Administrative and selling expense amounted to rupees 18 crore. Amounted to rupees 18 crore and salary paid amounted to rupees 22 crore. And salary paid amounted to rupees 22 crore. Salary paid amounted to rupees 22 crore. Point 4 write down. The company redeemed debenture. The company redeemed debenture of rupees 20 crore. Of rupees 20 crore at a premium of 10%. Of rupees 20 crore at a premium of 10%. Debenture holders were issued equity shares. Debenture holders were issued equity shares towards redemption. Debenture holders were issued equity shares towards redemption and the balance was paid in cash. And the balance was paid in cash. Balance was paid in cash. Next line. Debenture interest paid. Debenture interest paid during the year was. Debenture interest paid during the year was rupees 1.5 crores. Rupees 1.5 crores. Point 5. Point number 5. Dividend paid. Dividend paid during the year amounted to rupees. Dividend paid during the year amounted to rupees 11.7 crores. 11.7 crores including dividend distribution tax. Including dividend distribution tax was also paid. Including dividend distribution tax was also paid. Next point, investment. Investment costing rupees 12 crore. Investment costing rupees 12 crore were sold at a profit of rupees 2.4 crore. Were sold at a profit of rupees 2.4 crore. Point 7. Rupees 8 crore was paid. Rupees 8 crore was paid towards income tax during the year. Rupees 8 crore was paid towards income tax during the year. Point 8. Point 8. A new plant costing rupees 21 crore. A new plant costing rupees 21 crore was purchased in part exchange of an old plant. Was purchased in part exchange of an old plant. The book value of the old plant was rupees 12 crore. The book value of the old plant was rupees 12 crore, but the vendor took over the old plant the old plant at a value of rupees 10 crore only. At a value of rupees 10 crore only. underline and write balance was paid in cash to the vendor. Balance was paid in cash to the vendor. Balance was paid in cash to the vendor. Then write down the following balances are also provided. Point number 9, the following balances are also provided. The following balances are also provided. Now you just write down this much. Make a small table with two columns, rupees in crore, 1420x0 and 31st March 20x1 and 31st March 20x1. Dater, because these are just opening and closing balance. Daters 4550. Daters 4550. Creditors, creditors 21 23 21 23. Bank 6. Opening balance of bank balance is given. Opening bank balance is given, but closing bank balance is not given. This is opening balances. This debtor and creditor will help us to calculate collection and payment. That is why they have given. So this is question from your study material. So let us decide which method we will use. Can we use direct method in this question? Yes. Direct method is easy. Okay, because we can calculate collection, we can calculate payment. All expenses paid are directly given. So direct method we will use. Write down the format first. Please write the format. This format I can use from previous question. So dear student, write down. Dear student, please write down. Name of the company, write down Gamma Limited. Gamma Limited. Gamma. Cash flow statement for the year ended 31st March 20x1 using direct method. Using direct method. If you want to use indirect method, you can try as homework. For that, you need to find out the profit figure first. You will have to find out the profit figure in that case. That will require extra working note. Cash flow from operating activities. Cash flow from operating activities. Right hand side, rupees in crores. Rupees in crore. At the top right hand side corner, rupees in crores. Cash flow from operating activities. Keep about 6 lines blank here. Keep 6 lines blank here. Then write down, after keeping 6 lines blank, cash generated from operations. Cash generated from operations. Keeping 6 lines blank here. Then write down less income tax paid. Less income tax paid. Less income tax paid. Net cash flow from operating activities. 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 Point number B, cash flow from investing activities. Cash flow from investing activities, keep 5 lines blank. Cash flow from financing activities, keep 6 lines blank. In the exam, keep more space because you will not be able to judge. So you can keep a little more space. Net increase or decrease in cash and cash equivalent. Net increase or decrease in cash and cash equivalent. Point E, cash and cash equivalent. Cash and cash equivalent at the beginning of the period. Cash and cash equivalent at the beginning of the period. Cash and cash equivalent at the end of the period. Cash and cash equivalent at the end of the period. Cash and cash equivalent at the end of the period. Two working notes I will prepare. Two working notes I will prepare. First working note we will write debtors account. First working note we will write debtors account, just 5 lines. And working note 2, creditors account. And if you have any query, you can ask me at any point of time. Creditors account. Rupees in crore. In all the format, rupees in crores, and the same thing you will do in the exam also. Institute is just waiting to deduct marks. Remember, you make a small mistake and it will cost you a lot. So, can we start this question now? Can we start this question now? It says prepare cash flow statement. Prepare cash flow statement for Gamma Limited from the following information. Sales for the year amounted to rupees 135 crore, out of which 60% was cash sales. So first you come to main cash flow statement. Under cash flow statement, write down 1, operating activity cash sales. Cash sale, write down 60% into 135. That should be 81. 81. And what about the remaining? The remaining is credit sale. Debtor account debit side. Debtor account debit side to credit sale. 40% of 135. 40% of 135. How much is that? 40% of 135 is 54. Is 54. Continue. purchase for the year amounted to rupees 55 crore, out of which credit purchase was 80%. So we will come to working note to creditor account by credit purchase. By credit purchase was 80% of 55. 80% of 55, 44. And then what I will do? Cash purchase. Cash purchase will be 20% of 55. That is 11 in the outer column. 11 in the outer column. 11 in the outer column. Okay, next line. What is the next line now? Come to the question again. Point number 3. Administration and selling expenses 18 crore and salary paid 22 crore. Directly write in operating activity. Administration and selling expense. Administration and selling expense in bracket 18 crore, and then salary paid, point 4, salary paid 22 crore, salary paid 22 crore. Very good. Come on, next. Point 4, company redeemed debenture of rupees 20 crore at a premium of 10%. The debenture holders were issued equity share of 15 crore towards redemption, and the balance was paid in cash. So my question is, how much amount was paid to debenture holder in cash? How much amount was paid to debenture holders in cash? Please reply. Redemption of debentures. Debentures outstanding is 20 crore and we have to pay them 10% premium, 22 crore. Out of 22 crore, 15 crore was discharged by issue of equity share. So the remaining amount paid in cash, come on, remaining amount paid in cash, 7 crore in financing activity. Debenture interest paid during the year was 1.5 crore. Financing activity again, debenture interest paid. Debenture interest paid. How much is debenture interest paid? Debenture interest paid is 1.5 crore. 1.5 crore towards redemption, and the balance, this is over. Dividend paid during there was 11.7 crore. Dividend paid in financing activity. Dividend paid. Very easy question. Likely question for 5 marks in the exam. So write very important. For future exam, 4 to 5 marks question. Tanya is right, Sanket is right. And next point is investment costing rupees 12 crore was sold at a profit of 2.54 crore. Cost 12 crore. Profit 2.4 crore. My question is, what is the sale value of investment? Investing activity, sale value of investment. Sale value of investment is how much? Cost is 12 crore and the profit is 2.4. So that will give me 14.4 crore rupees. Is this right? 14.4 crore. Point number 7. Rupees 8 crore was paid towards income tax during the year. Cash flow from operating activity income tax paid in bracket 8 crore. In bracket 8 crore. Point number 8. a new plant costing rupees 21 crore, a new plant costing rupees 21 crore. What is the cost of this new plant? 21 crore was purchased in part exchange of an old plant. So this is an exchange of old and new. New you will receive, old you will give. So the cost of new is 21. The book value of the old plant was rupees 12 crore. Means WDV was 12 crore. But the vendor took over the old plant at a value of rupees 10 crore only. So what is the value of old plant agreed between the two parties? Is 10 crore only. So vendor says, I am willing to take your old plant at a valuation of 10 and I will give you new plant at a valuation of 20. So how much will be the cash paid in this deal? How much will be cash paid in this deal? The cash paid in this deal will be 11 crore. Okay. So you make a working note 3, payment made for purchase of fixed asset. Payment made for purchase of fixed asset. Right hand side rupees in crore. Point number A, cost of new plant 21 crore. Value of old plant agreed 10 crore. Value of old plant agreed 10 crore. Therefore cash paid 11 crore. Cash paid 11 crore. Only this 11 crore rupees will come in your cash flow statement. So we'll come to investing activity and write down their purchase of new plant. Working note 3 in bracket 11 crore. Point number 9. The following balances were also provided. Debtor account opening balance to balance brought down working note 1 45, buy balance carried down 50, creditor account buy balance brought down given is 21, to balance carried down given is 23. So the missing figure is to bank here. To bank. Payment made. Payment made. How much is the payment made to supplier? 42 crore. And how much is the collection from debtor? Try by bank balancing figure 49. 49 crore is the collection. Check the answer. 49 crore is collection, 42 crore is payment. Then what we'll do, we'll come to this cash flow from operating activity. Point number 5, collection from debtor positive 49, and point number 6, payment to creditors in bracket 42, and opening cash balance is given In the outer column 6, second last line, opening cash balance. So now what we will do, we will close this question. First you tell me cash flow from operation. Cash flow from operations, cash generated from operation 37. Cash generated from operation 37, total of these 6 items. Minus 8, payment to credit, minus 8 tax paid. So cash flow from operating activity would be 29. Check the answer. Cash flow from operating activity 29. Cash flow from investing activity 3.4. Cash flow from financing activity 20.2 in bracket. Check the calculation. Very easy. Today you practiced at least 10 more questions on your own. In the classroom we have limited time. We have used more than around 20 hours on this chapter till now. So net increase or decrease in cash and cash equivalent is 12.2. 12.2 and opening balance is 6. So closing balance should be 18.2. Closing balance should be 18.2. So Tanya is right. These 3 figures must be correct. Institute will check the last column first. If your last column is right, they will be happy to give you marks. Okay. Any query on this question now? Any query on this question? If you have no query, we will solve one more question. This time an easy question I will dictate. I will dictate an easy question. Write down. One more question, write down. This is not there in your booklet, so you will have to write it down only. Question, write down. Use the following data. Use the following data. This is not in your book. Please write down. This is use the following data of ABC Limited. Use the following data of ABC Limited. A small question. We can do it in next 15 minutes. Last question for today. Use the following data of ABC Limited to construct a statement of cash flow. To construct a statement of cash flow using direct and indirect method. Using direct and indirect method. So the same question they are asking you to solve twice. Okay? So we have to solve it 2 times, direct and indirect method. So please write down. Right hand side 2 columns, 2002, 20x2 and 20x1. 20x2, 20x1. Write fast. Last question for the day. Cash, write down. Cash, write down 4,000, 14,000. All of you, please write. We are trying very hard to ensure you get very good results. Accounts receivable. Accounts receivable. 25,000, 32,500. 25,000 and 32,500. Prepaid insurance. Prepaid insurance. 5,000, 7,000. Inventory. Everybody must write in notebook. Inventory. 37,000, 34,000. Fixed asset. Fixed asset. 3,16,000, 2,70,000. Accumulated depreciation. Accumulated depreciation. These two are related, okay? Accumulated depreciation 45,000, 30,000. Total assets. Total assets 3,42,000, 3,42,000, 3,27,500, 3,27,500. This is your asset side. Below that, write down liabilities item now. Accounts payable. Accounts payable 18,000, 16,000. Accounts payable 18,000, 16,000. Wages payable. Wages payable 4,000, 7,000. Wages payable 4,000, 7,000. Debentures 1,73,000, 1,60,000. Equity shares 88,000, 84,000. Retained earning 59,000, 60,500, 60,500. Total. So this is your liability side. Now what is given below is your P&L account. So you can just mention here P&L account, right hand side 20x2, right hand side 20x2, right hand side 20x2. Then write down sales. Sales write down 2 lakh. Sales write down 2 lakh. Cost of goods sold write down 1,23,000. Cost of goods sold 1,23,000. Cost of goods sold 1,23,000. Depreciation 1,23,000. Sorry, depreciation 15,000. Depreciation 15,000. Insurance expense 11,000. Insurance expense 11,000. Wages 50,000. Wages 50,000. Net profit 1,000. Net profit 1,000. This question has no adjustment. Sorry, there is one adjustment. Write down below. During the financial year 2002, Company ABC Limited Company ABC Limited. Company ABC Limited declared and paid dividend of rupees 2500. Declared and paid dividend of rupees 2500. Declared and paid dividend of rupees 2500. Then write down during 20x2 during 20x2 ABC Limited paid rupees 46,000 in cash, rupees 46,000 in cash to acquire new fixed asset. Rupees 46,000 in cash to acquire new fixed asset. To acquire new fixed asset. To acquire new fixed asset. Last point, accounts payable was used. Accounts payable was used only for inventory. Account payable was used only for inventory. Account payable was used only for inventory. And one more point, no debt was retired during the year. No debt was retired during the year 2002. No debt was retired during the year 2002. Okay. No debt was retired during the year 2002. So please tell me, is it a difficult question or an easy question? Difficult or easy? Difficult or easy? So this is a very easy question. So let us start. First I will solve by direct method. So write down, first we'll solve by direct method. Format of direct method I have. So I will ask you to copy the same again. Write down first method 1 direct method. First write down method 1 direct method. Cash flow statement. Cash flow statement. Cash flow statement. Come on, fast. Right hand side two columns. Right hand side two columns, rupees, rupees. Rupees and rupees. Rupees and rupees. Okay. So everybody is now ready. First point A, write down cash flow from operating activities. Cash flow from operating activities. Keep about 6 lines blank. Then write down cash generated from operations. Cash generated from operations. Then write down less taxes paid. Less taxes paid. Therefore, net cash flow from operating activities. Therefore, net cash flow from operating activities. Therefore, net cash flow from operating activities. Point number B, cash flow from investing activities. Cash flow from investing activities. Keep 2 lines blank. Cash flow from financing activities. Keep 6 lines blank. Cash flow from financing activities, 6 lines blank. Point number D. Net increase or decrease in. Net increase or decrease in cash and cash equivalent. Net increase or decrease in cash and cash equivalent. Point number E. Cash and cash equivalent at the beginning of the period. Cash and cash equivalent at the beginning of the period. Cash and cash equivalent at the end of the period. Last line. Cash and cash equivalent at the end of the period. Cash and cash equivalent at the end of the period. So after this main page, we'll prepare some working notes. Working note 1, debtors account. As usual, 6 lines. Working note 2, creditors account. 6 lines. Working note 3, prepaid insurance account. Write down insurance account. When there is a prepaid or outstanding, we'll prepare working notes to find out the balancing figure. Alternatively, you can prepare statements of plus and minus. Both are okay. We are more comfortable with accounts. Working note 4, there is a wages payable in the question. So I will write wages account. Wages account, 6 lines. And one last account you write retained earning account. Retained earnings account, about 6 lines. And working note 6, write down purchases. Everybody write down this answer. Purchases equal to cost of goods sold plus closing stock less opening stock. Less opening stock. This is the problem under direct method. And the same question we have to solve under indirect method also. So if you are ready, we can start. Cash, write down. Cash, write down in the main page. Cash and cash equivalent at the beginning. 14,000 is the beginning. 4,000 is the end. Accounts receivable. Working note 1, debtors account. 2, balance brought down 32,500 and buy balance carried down 25,000. Prepaid insurance. Insurance account, debit side. Opening prepaid insurance will come on the debit side. Insurance account debit to prepaid insurance. Opening. This way, opening prepaid insurance account will close. 7,000 and buy prepaid insurance. At the end of the year, we pass the entry prepaid insurance to insurance 5,000. This is closing. Next point is inventory. I will use inventory for finding the purchases. Working note 6 on the right side. Working note 6. Cost of goods sold given below in P&L account 1,23,000. Closing stock is 37,000. Opening stock is 34,000. So what is the purchases made? What is the purchases made? 1,23,000 plus 37,000 and minus 34,000. So we are getting 1,26,000. Purchases 1,26,000. So please go to working note 2, second line. Second line. Buy purchases 1,26,000. Then we have fixed asset. Look at the question. Fixed asset opening balance is 2,70,000. Opening balance is 2,70,000 and closing balance is 3,16,000. So the difference is 46,000. And there is a note in the problem which says that fixed asset of rupees 46,000 were acquired in cash. So this difference 46,000 in fixed asset represent purchase. So in investing activity, write down purchase of fixed asset. In investing activity, write down purchase of fixed asset. Purchase of fixed asset 46,000. Purchase of fixed asset 46,000. Accumulated depreciation. Now look at this accumulated depreciation. Opening is 30, closing is 45, and look at that P&L account third line below, P&L account third line 15,000. So that difference 15,000 represent depreciation for the year and which is already reflected in the P&L account. So no further adjustment required for depreciation in this method. Next point, total asset done. Accounts payable, trade creditor account. Trade creditor account, buy balance brought down. Trade creditor buy balance brought down 16,000. To balance carried down 18,000. Wages payable, there is a working note number 4 after accounts payable, wages payable. So credit side write down by wages payable opening balance. On the credit side 7,000 to wages payable in bracket closing. In bracket closing. Wages payable will write separately. Wages payable is given separately in the P&L account also. So therefore we'll write separately. Wages is a separate payment, creditors are separate payment. So one query was there, why we are not including wages in purchases. They are separate items, payable to separate parties. Anyway, so closing wages write down 4,000. Okay. Next line is debenture. Opening debenture is 160. Closing is 173. So I will come to financing activity and write issue of debenture. issue of debenture in positive number 13,000. Issue of debenture 13,000. Then equity share from 84,000, it has become 88,000. So I will write issue of shares 4,000. Issue of shares 4,000. Retained earning, we have a separate ledger. By balance brought down 60,500. Working note 5 debit side last line to balance carried down 59,000. 59,000. This completes our balance sheet. Now come to P&L account. Sales right in debtors. Working note 1 debit side. Sales is 2 lakh. Cost of goods sold we have already used here in working note 6. Depreciation already reconciled. Insurance account credit side by P&L account. Working note 3. Insurance expenses 11,000. Wages account credit side by P&L account 50,000. Net profit 1,000. Retained earning account by net profit 1,000. All P&L account items are also over. There is a note given below. Dividend paid 2,500. Dividend paid 2,500. Retained earning account debit. So here I am going to create a liability to dividend payable 2500. Just check, have you written the same adjustment? Dividend paid 2,500, and we'll go to financing activity and write here dividend paid in bracket 2,500. Dividend paid in bracket 2,500. Now next is purchase of fixed asset for 46,000, that we have done. Account payable was used only for inventory, that also we have done. No debt was retired during the year, means no debenture was redeemed. Only issue of debenture took place. So what you will do, working note 1 debtor account by bank, balancing figure, by bank balancing figure, this is 232,500 on the debit side minus 25,000. So 2,07,500 is collection. Creditor account credit side 1,42,000 minus 18,000 minus 18,000. Creditor to bank 1,24,000. Check. Insurance account to bank 16 minus 7 9,000. Wages account to bank, credit side total 57,000 minus 4 53,000. Retained earning account is telling. So this is telling. What we should do now, all these receipts and payments we should transfer to operating activities. We should transfer to operating activities. So on the screen at the top, operating activities, you will write working note yourself number, working note number yourself. Collection from debtor 2,07,500. Next was payment to creditors. Payment to creditor was 1,24,000. Very good. Yes, come on. Payment to creditor. Then insurance paid. Insurance paid was 9,000. And one more item was there. Wages paid 53,000. 53,000. This will give you cash generated from operations. This will give you cash generated from operations. So calculate cash generated from operation 21,500. I am getting 21,500. Check yourself. Tax paid 0. Cash flow from operating activities 21,500. Cash flow from investing activities 46,000. Cash flow from financing activity, check the total, 14,500. So net increase or decrease in cash and cash equivalent. Check the net increase or decrease in cash and cash equivalent. There is a decrease of 10,000. Oh, there is a decrease of 10,000. And is it tallying? Yes. This is tallying. This is telling. Now the last part of this answer is we are going to prepare direct method answer also. Okay, this same question we are going to solve under indirect method also. Direct we have done. Under indirect method also we have to solve. Very easy question under indirect method. So let us try. Write down cash flow statement. Indirect method. Just 5 more minutes because there is no major adjustment as such. Indirect method. Okay. First point A, cash flow from operating activities. Cash flow from operating activities. Under that, write down 1, net profit before adjustments. Net profit before adjustment. Point number 2, adjustments. Point number 2, adjustment. 2 lines blank. Point number 3, operating profit before working capital changes. This is one more practice purposefully so that you will revise indirect method one more time. Operating profit before working capital changes. Point number 4 is working capital changes. Working capital changes, keep 6 lines blank. And then point number 5, write down cash flow from operating activities. This question does not have tax. So I will save time by directly writing cash flow from operating activities because there is no taxation. Then write down point number B, cash flow from investing activities. Keep 2 lines blank. Cash flow from financing activities. Keep 5 lines blank. Point number D, net increase or decrease in cash and cash equivalent. Point number E, opening cash and cash equivalent. Point number F, closing cash and cash equivalent. Closing cash and cash equivalent. Closing cash and cash equivalent. So this is the format. Let us start. Let us start together. All of you have drawn the format. Cash opening balance 14,000. Point number E. Closing balance 4,000. Point number F. Point number F. Accounts receivable. Accounts receivable will come in operating activity, working capital changes. Working capital changes. So you will write decrease in debtors. You will find your debtor balance has reduced from 32,500 to 25,000. So this is a decrease of 7,500. Decrease in debtor, increase in cash flow. Decrease in debtor, increase in cash flow. And then prepaid insurance will also come here. Decrease in prepaid insurance. Decrease in current asset, increase in cash flow. 2,000 rupees, 7,000 minus 5,000. Inventory. Inventory has increased. So I will write increase in inventory. Increase in stock. Increase in stock is a decrease in cash flow. Increase in stock is decrease in cash flow. Next is fixed asset. Fixed asset we have discussed earlier also, will come under investment activity. Purchase of fixed asset. Purchase of fixed asset we have discussed earlier also, 46,000. And depreciation for the year 30,000 versus 45,000, 15,000. In adjustment write down, add depreciation. Add depreciation for the year for the year only 15,000. Add depreciation for the year 15,000. Then we have total asset, accounts payable. Accounts payable will come in working capital changes. From 16 it has become 18. So this is increase in creditors. Increase in creditors is increase in cash flow. Increase in current liability, increase in cash flow. In the same way, same place, decrease in wages payable. Decrease in wages payable. 7 minus 4, 3,000. Decrease in current liability, decrease in cash flow. Debenture issued, cash flow from financing activity. Cash flow from financing activity. Issue of debenture, 13,000. Same like earlier one. Equity share, issue of equity share. Financing activity and investment activity presentation is same. Retained earning not required. Retained earning not required. Retained earning, total assets and liabilities. Sales not required because we are going to write profit. Cost of goods sold not required. Depreciation required, but we have already written here on the screen, non-cash item. Insurance expense not required because we have written here in working capital changes. Wages not required, we have already written here. Wages payable decrease. Net profit 1,000 will be required here. Net profit before adjustment. Net profit before adjustment 1,000. That is required. And there is a dividend paid in the problem. Dividend paid also will come in financing activities. Dividend paid 2,500 given below the P&L account. Then it is given that fixed asset of 46,000 was purchased, but that we have done. Now the time has come to close this answer. First you come to operating activities. You will take total of 1,000 plus 15,000. That gives you operating profit before working capital changes. Now take 16,000 and add less this item. You will get cash flow from operating activities directly. So take 16,000 plus 7,500 plus 2,000 minus 3,000 plus 2,000 minus 3,000. So you will be happy to note that again you are getting same 21,500. You will be happy to note again you are getting 46,000 rupees here negative. And financing activity is also same. So of course the increase or decrease will also be same, 10,000 decrease. Check the answer. Go through the question yourself, go through the answer and see if you have understood. We have taken so much efforts to make you understand this cash flow statement. From your side, you have to do lot of practice. This chapter is little trickier. If it is a 16 to 20 marks question in the exam, then those are lengthy and little trickier. So you will have to do more and more practice. Okay. So thank you for watching this video. See you tomorrow. Bye bye. Thank you. Have a good day.